Okay, I think we're live again.
Oh, we are?
So let's see. We are just going to cozy up and use the same mic because one mic decided it's not going to work. You know?
Yeah.
But we like each other.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
I'm going to put these on so I know. For those of you who wear glasses, you know this can get a little uncomfortable
dicey.
after a while.
Yeah. Let's see. It looks like it's come through. Okay, we got one person watching.
Let us know if you can't hear us.
Let us know if you can't hear us. We think it's working right now, but, you know, we had some issues. I'm going to need like 3 or 4 more Hoth icebreakers after that. That was a little bit stressful. Let's see. We hear you now. Yay!
Oh,
We did it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alligator Gamer.
Yeah.
We appreciate you. Sometimes it's really hard to manage everything you have to manage on this side and also know if it's working correctly. Yeah, sound check went great. So, yeah, we're down to one mic, but we know how to rough it. So, if you joined us for our Instagram pre-show, we were in the kitchen making the Hoth icebreaker.
Yes.
And my foam is all gone. But the drink part is still really tasty. Do you want to sip?
Yeah, I haven't tried it. Let's see. Ooh.
It's pretty lemony.
It's a very lemony.
Lemon forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. And it's one that I don't think we ever got to have it in the Sublight Lounge.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
On the Star Cruiser. But a lot of people were ordering it and it's such a cool visual. Just wanted to have a chance to try it at home. And we did that live so that if people wanted to kind of get a sense of like, what is in it? How do I make one at home? We'll do a proper tutorial video with all of the stuff where we had to bake the garnish in the oven and so forth. It's fun. It's just fun to like learn a new process.
Yeah, you did a good job. It's good. It's tasty.
The foam is gone, but it was like a lemon vanilla flavored foam. Gives it a nice effect.
I could definitely drink more of that if I didn't have to get up at 5 a.m.
You got an early morning tomorrow. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a stiff drink. Like I had one yesterday as my practice run and I was just kind of puttering around in the middle of the afternoon and was like, ooh.
Yep, I like it when we can find a non-alcoholic version to go along with it somehow.
Yeah.
So I have to think about that.
I think we need it partly because, to your point, it's nice if you have an early morning or maybe you're on a fitness cycle where you want to not be doing alcohol. There's plenty of different reasons for it. Yeah. Also, we have a lot of friends who abstain for all kinds of reasons. And if we have them over, we want them to be able to have some kind of a shared experience with us. Yeah. And what's cool is a lot of these Star Wars drinks, there is a corresponding mocktail version. We just have to go looking for it. I have not found it for this one, but we've figured out other ways to get a blue drink.
I just realized you matched your shirt to the...
I might have
so clever
coordinated a little bit.
I love it.
It's my,
I would have worn blue. I didn't think about it.
Well, purple is kind of always appropriate because it's not like we're going to go a whole episode and not talk about the Star Cruiser at all.
That's true.
And everything they served in the Sublight Lounge on the Star Cruiser is like a target for us to try to make.
Yeah.
I think because they all looked cool. They all helped you feel like you were in the story. Super neat. So it looks like we got a few people coming back in and joining us for the live. That's really nice. Sorry about the technical hurdles. Like it's a whole learning process and we're embracing imperfection. We had a whole discussion the other day about art and the process of creating something. And it's a little bit of a vulnerable moment when you put anything out there that you've created because it's never going to be perfect because we're human beings. And so I always really admire artists, whether it's musicians or people who created all that amazing artwork that we saw on display at HalseyCon. like they're really kind of showing you a part of themselves that's so personal that I kind of like it if it's not 100% perfect, because that tells me that a human being made it, which these days is becoming a bigger deal. Like there is so much AI generated stuff, or even experimenting with that a little bit. But for me, it will never take the place of something that an artist poured their heart and soul into. Um, I like to know that there's a person behind it who maybe had some kind of a story they were wanting to share.
Yeah, definitely.
Or some part of themselves. So, in fact, I think that's a good segue. There's some Sabacc stuff I want to talk about tonight, because all of a sudden
some Sabacc stuff on
everybody is talking about Sabacc, and there is so much to be said about it. But before we do that, I would like to switch over to let's see. Oh, I lost all my browser tabs. Let me just get this open again. There is a brand new documentary piece about the Star Cruiser experience that was created by a channel called Double Crit Fail. So I immediately love it. I can tell just from the name, it's like right up my alley. And he did the most beautiful job of kind of articulating not just what happens when you would go on the Star Cruiser, but why did it mean so much to so many of us? So let's see. Yeah, here's his channel. Let me do a quick screen share so that everybody can see. So this is his channel, Double Crit Fail, and it's the first video on here right off the bat where it says Disney's Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser was spectacular. And this makes the nicest counterpoint to some of the other videos out there I won't mention that were perhaps I'll say a little skewed in their take, maybe a lot skewed. And to see, because part of the reason why it's a big deal for me is I saw the amount of heart and emotion and like personal artistry that so many of the creators and cast and writers and producers were all pouring into that Star Cruiser experience. And to see people take to YouTube to just like kind of deconstruct it in some ways that I felt like weren't particularly constructive or healthy bothered me. And what I think I was longing for was something like what he's done here. It's maybe, how long was it? I think it was maybe about 45 minutes long. And we just watched it the other night as a family. I could tell, I watched like the first few minutes the other day, and I could tell I needed a minute before I was ready to watch it. Like I needed to sort of gather myself emotionally. One of the things I appreciated is he is not afraid to let some emotion show as he's discussing it. Because I think for all of us that voyaged, it's always kind of like right under the surface. It's actually still a little bit hard to talk about without it getting choked up. And so much of like documentaries or news coverage, whoever is making it is kind of detached. And I don't know, you were puttering in the kitchen while we were watching it, so I didn't actually see what your reaction was. And you've been at work basically ever since.
Yeah.
So what was going on with you as you were watching him kind of break it down?
Well, I thought he did a really good job of talking through what it was like to be on the Star Cruiser and some of the special experiences that you get while you're there as a guest.
Yep. Yeah, it was such an organized, like well laid out approach. He ties it to his own childhood experiences with Disney. He ties it back to other immersive experiences Disney has developed over the years, and really kind of makes the case for why this one was so special. So Double Crit Fail, we salute you. We should be giving you a special tabuite, because we're intimately familiar with how long it takes to put together something of that magnitude. And it was just so beautifully done. I saw people in the comments saying Disney needs you like to tell their story for stuff like this, because he's got a real gift for it. So way to go, man. That was really beautiful and great for our family to have that. I think it had kind of a healing.
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
It had healing properties. Okay, so as far as Sabacc, I want to introduce you to website, if you're not familiar with it, called Hyperspace Props. And let's see if I can get it to come up here. Nope.
You're typing with your right hand and you're a lefty.
It's almost impossible.
Yeah.
There we go. Hyperspaceprops.com. And we got to meet Mike and Emily at HalseyCon for the first time after being big fans of theirs for a long time.
Yeah.
Did you see her dressed up in her Leku? She was a Twi'lek for...
I saw a few Twi'leks, which...
There were multiple Twi'leks. Which Twi'lek? The two of them just make me so happy because they love to immerse as much as we do. And I feel like they've even found new levels to take it to. I don't know that you can really see it, but our table is covered with stuff that is all Sabacc related. And most of it came from their shop, which I'd love for you to check out. Part of the reason why Sabacc is blowing up right now is the video game Star Wars Outlaws. We did our very first live stream attempt of Xbox gameplay on release day. And that was really fun to be able to sit and play that. But our guest, who goes by I Am Clark Jacobs, so you may be surprised to know his name is Clark Jacobs, in real life, came over and played with us. And he shared with me that one of the things he was most excited about in that game, we did not get to do during that session because they don't give you access to it until you've been into it for a while. And that is where you can literally sidle up to a Sabacc table and get in a game. They've made that part of the Star Wars Outlaws experience so smoothly. And it's not just a fun side thing. It's like part of the narrative. So you feel like it matters that you're playing Sabacc.
And it's a new variation, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
And when I first realized that, as they were maybe doing some of the early marketing, I was like, oh, I don't know. I already like the Sabacc we've learned. And I don't know if I need to know another variant because there's up to at least 4. There's been way more than that people have described in books and comics over the years. But the ones that you can really like sit and play and that Mike and Emily have as products you can buy in their shop. In fact, I'm going to go to the shop page and I'm going to go into decks and dice, and that'll sort of filter it down to the types of Sabacc decks. What they also have mixed in here is Sabacc, which is a completely different game from a much earlier time period, from a more civilized age. And we're going to dive deep into Sabacc, I think, in its own episode. I'm dying to just sit and play Sabacc with you. We've got the play mat and the deck for it over here, but all the quality they put in all of their products is so beautiful. But just within the Sabacc world, there is classic Sabacc or traditional Sabacc, which there have been different versions of the deck for over the years. I'm just going to flip back and make sure I can see what you're seeing. And there is a version of the deck. Would you mind handing me that one with the 1 and 2 on it? Just, that one there. So this is the Sabacc deck. So these are not Sabacc cards, but traditional Sabacc cards were this normal card shape and would sort of give you this look. And it was a big deck. It was like 70, I think it's 72 cards. We're in the process right now of trying to break down exactly what is different about each version of Sabacc. We got some people watching. There's Dark Smack. Hey. Mark Roma says the Kessel deck came last week and is super cool.
Oh, nice.
And Mark Ovier says hello. Thanks for joining, guys. Yeah, we're like, it's about to get really nerdy in here, so your timing is perfect. So this is a traditional Sabacc deck. So when you hear like Lando and Han Solo talking about winning the Millennium Falcon, or even when we saw it in the movie, I think they're really meant to be having played traditional Sabacc, which is a little bit different rule set, different win condition, and a different mix of cards that make up the deck. So I won't go into all the details or I'll never stop talking, but it gives us, one of the things it gives us is a special hand of cards called the Idiot's Array. And there was an episode of Rebels named after that because Lando shows up as a surprise guest on that episode. And if I remember correctly, wins Chopper using that hand in a surprising moment. So if you want to experience the Idiot's Array, it's very rare. It's like getting struck by lightning. The reason is it's a big deal is somebody could have the perfect Sabacc hand, but if somebody else has the Idiot's Array, that's going to win. Because the target number in traditional Sabacc is not 0 like we're used to. It's 23 or negative 23. So I think it was meant to be based a little bit more on blackjack. But the idea is the Idiot's Array is a 0, a 2, and a 3. So you literally have 23. And I think they must have thought it was funny to have the idea be somebody thinks that's a winning Sabacc hand. So they just decided to make it a winning Sabacc hand. So that's traditional Sabacc. That's kind of like if you were to like go back and play the classic original, it would be that one. This version is special to me and Bridget. Do you remember the first time we ever saw this?
I don't.
It was on our honeymoon.
Oh.
They were selling this at Galaxy's Edge in the Toydarian Toy Maker toy shop. And that was the first time I had ever seen a playable version of Sabacc that you could take home and learn how to play. And it sat in our house for a long time and didn't get played. I think the pandemic was probably what got us to finally buckle down and learn it. And then when we were thinking about doing our very first podcast episode, we thought, what if we just keep it simple as far as what we're playing, and we'll just have it be about learning to play Sabacc? Because we knew there'd be a lot of people who probably would like to, but maybe just haven't made the time to learn the rules or didn't know this was a thing you could get. And this keeps it pretty simple. The target number in this game is 0. So you are using cards that are positive numbers and negative numbers. And as you add them together, you're trying to get as close to 0 as you can. If your cards add up to exactly 0, that's a Sabacc hand. And there's 2 special cards that are worth 0. They're called Cylops. So in the movie Solo, Lando is hiding a card. He's cheating. He's hiding a card up his sleeve. And that's one of the Cylops. It's like hiding an ace up your sleeve if you're playing blackjack, I guess. And so if you get both Cylops, that's also like getting struck by lightning, but that would be the best version of a Sabacc hand that you could get in this game. It comes with a deck of cards and 2 very nice metal dice that you can roll for what's called the spike. The name of this variant is Corellian Spike. And the idea is as you roll the dice, I don't know if I can get them close enough to the camera to be able to see. Oh, the ones that this game comes with are plastic. The reason I'm thinking of metal dice is when you shop from Hyperspace Props, they have a beautiful set of golden metal dice that I've been playing with ever since. And so I think that just rewired me to think, oh, it comes with metal dice. Nope, it comes from Mike and Emily at Hyperspace Props. And so these are the plastic dice that come with the game that you might buy in the parks. And they have different symbols on each side. And all you don't have to learn what they mean. They just mean the different numbers. But as you roll them, if you get doubles of any symbol, that is a spike. Do you remember what happens when you get the spike?
You start all over.
Basically start over. Everybody has to dump their hand.
If it's a good hand, it's really painful.
It does a nice job of leveling the playing field.
It does.
So if somebody has really been cleaning your clock and they're across the table from you betting the pot way up, and then somebody rolls a spike and they have to dump their hand, now now it's anybody's game. And that sort of gives you a chance to get back into the gameplay. So I thought that was super cool. What we learned as part of our pre-show research for that very first episode, that's like a year and a half ago now.
I know.
It was for May the 4th of 2023. We put that episode out. And we learned that in the books, there is a concept in a casino or a cantina where you might be playing Sabacc of what they would call an interference field. And you'll experience this a little bit more in traditional Sabacc.
Oh, yeah, that was in the Darth Bane.
The Darth Bane book. Yeah. Boy, Sabacc is super important in Darth Bane's storyline. So if you haven't read, what's his first book called?
I'm trying to remember.
Is it Path of Destruction?
It might be.
I think that's the first one. It's a trilogy, though.
Yeah.
Trilogy of books. And you get his full backstory from like
It's so great.
just
Yeah.
normal Joe, everyday, like blue collar worker,
Mm-hmm.
all the way through the Sith purge and everything in between. So if you've ever been curious about what makes up that story, it's super interesting and really well written, but Sabacc is a surprisingly important
It's
part
a
of it.
pivotal moment in his life. Yeah.
Yeah.
His story.
If you're a fan of Sabacc and you like seeing it, and the more you like the game, the more you kind of want it to matter in the storyline. So it's great that it's tied to the Millennium Falcon and Han Solo's origins and all of that. But there's people have really riffed on that idea since then of like what other important moments could be decided by this. Um, so back to the interference field. The idea is I think all the cards are meant to have been little tiny like digital screens that could be changed. And after you've been dealt your cards, they could be changed by a device that is in the center of the table, unless you have opted during one of the rounds of gameplay to lock in the cards you want to make sure to keep. And so you set them in a special part of the table that is protected from interference by that device. That's the interference field. So any cards that you still have in your hand that are not protected could be changed digitally by the device that's running the game. So when we roll these dice in this variant of the game, we're essentially recreating that tradition of players having their cards changed. We're just doing it in a little bit more of an analog way, but same idea. And that's the origins of that, which we did not know until we sat down to get ready for that episode. Okay, so that is Corellian Spike. Let's move on to this next one here, which is just checking the comments. This one is called Coruscant Shift. And this one came from the Galactic Star Cruiser. So you could buy this in the gift shop when you were voyaging on board the Halcyon. And this game is beautiful. And I think my assumption, wrongly, was that it would just be Corellian Spike, but maybe with like a little different aesthetic. And it's actually a different game. The cards are beautiful. This version does come with metal dice. It was meant to be like a fancy experience. You know, when you're voyaging on the Halcyon, they really make you feel like it's luxurious. And if the camera will zoom in on that, there we go. These dice are actually even used differently. They're not used to roll the spike. It's a gold and a silver. And one has numbers and one has shapes. When you roll the number, which is either a 0, a 5, a 10, a -5, or a -10, that becomes the target number for the game. So instead of trying to always get 0, you're trying to get whatever we rolled at the beginning of the round on this die, which is the gold. And the silver die is shapes. So it's circles, squares, or triangles. And that is essentially the tiebreaker suit. All of the cards are one of those 3 suits. And it's pretty easy to have multiple players all come up with the target number. So you need something to break the tie. In in Corellian Spike and in traditional Sabacc, there's a lot of tie-breaking logic that has to happen if people get the same mathematical result. Here we just use the suit as the tiebreaker, so whatever got rolled is what you go off of. The cards are beautiful. They all have kind of a glittery sort of a finish. And here's what the Psylop looks like. Literally almost looks like it's inlaid with glitter. Fortunately, it's not.
A foil.
Or it would be yeah, I think it's like a foil inlay.
Yeah.
And so we just have happy memories of staying up late in the Sublight Lounge playing Sabacc. If that was a good memory for you, we know what that feels like. It just sort of got into your bloodstream a little bit. We met this lovely family that I stayed up until like 2 in the morning playing with them at one of the tables. And then the most recent version that Mark Roma mentioned in the comments is Kessel Sabacc. And this is the version of Sabacc that you play when you are in the game Star Wars Outlaws and you sit down at a table and join in. Everybody is playing this. And it is so fun that now everybody's been posting about it. Everybody's been wanting to learn how to play it at home for here in the real world. And I'm dying to sit with you and have a weekend where we just like hunker down and play Kessel Sabacc.
Now that the weather's changing, it's a good time to do that.
This is like cozy weather, like have fun learning something new. So this Kessel Sabacc deck is from Hyperspace Props. And let me navigate you right to the page so you can see. In fact, let me make it even bigger. Okay, so they still show it as a pre-order. These people are super fast at what they do, though. So even if you are pre-ordering, they're going to have this in your hands so quick. So my version came with a set of metal dice. And it also came with a set of tokens. I'll show what the cards look like real quick. So the two, there's a lot of differences in this one. I thought it would be maybe minor variations on what we already learned from the other games, but it's super different. The first thing you notice is that the positive and negative cards in the game have two different color backs. So these are actually treated as two different decks. They call one the blood deck and one is the sand deck. And you only ever have one card from each deck in your hand, which makes it way simpler. You could have up to 5, I think, in some of the other variants of Sabacc. Here, if you're slow at quickly adding up a bunch of cards and trying to figure out if you've got 0 or not, that is gone now. You're only adding up one positive negative, one positive number and one negative number. So those turn out beautiful. When we were at HalcyCon, they were showing like a preliminary version of this deck, and it was already beautiful. So I raced to order mine. Funny story. When we gave away our Cal Kestis lightsaber, it was because I had accidentally ordered a second one, not realizing the first one I had ordered was a thing that had happened. The same exact thing happened here. I pre-ordered a Kessel deck from Hyperspace Props and forgot I did that. I think I was so excited. It probably took me like 5 seconds to do it. And then time went by. And then I think we were at HalcyCon and I saw Mike and Emily and saw the preview of the deck and was like, ooh, yeah, need to get in there and pre-order us a Kessel deck so we can like show it off and have fun learning how to play it together. Well, now we have two because I put my order in and then the package arrives and there was 2 in there and I was like, that's nice. They sent us an extra one. They must really love us. And then I was like, wait. And I looked on the order form and sure enough, I had ordered it twice. So Hyperspace Props, the store's so good, you'll order from them twice. They can feel free to use that. Yeah. So the other big thing about Kessel Sabacc is these tokens. Have we sat and talked about these at all?
I don't think so.
I can't remember if you're far enough in Outlaws where those start to become a factor.
No.
You've kind of just started playing recently.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
So this is a really neat thing they added. Sometimes what people will criticize about the design of a dice or a cards-based game is it can feel too random or too much like luck is the deciding factor. Like, too bad you weren't lucky. You would have won that one. A game design that people will favor is one where there is maybe some element of luck, but then a way for you to mitigate that, at least to some extent, through some other gameplay mechanics. And they have brought us that in the form of these tokens, which
people can.
They can't. Let's hold them up and show some.
Okay.
So each one has a different design. And I have to kind of like look away. The camera focuses based on facial recognition. And the minute I turn away, it can kind of like focus on what's in the foreground. Each of these tokens provides a different in-game effect on the whatever round you're playing. Now there's 20. Let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8. There's 16 of them laid out here, and I can't remember if that's all of them or if there's more. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Star Wars people keep adding more over time. But they, you don't have them all at the beginning. In fact, I don't think you have any at the beginning. You might even play your first game of Sabacc not using them at all because they don't want to confuse the player. But then they introduce kind of a starter set. If you grab that little set of 3 that's just stacked up by itself, these are the starting Sabacc tokens. So if you buy a Kessel Sabacc set from Mike and Emily, it's going to come with, I think, 4 sets of these 3 tokens. So you could have a play group of 4 people sitting around playing this together, and they can all use these because these are what you get to start with in Star Wars Outlaws, and you could be fine just using these for weeks and not be bored. But over the course of the game, your character, as you're venturing around in the wasteland and doing different missions and stuff, you will gradually come across these other tokens as like a found object. It's to give you an incentive to explore. Like when you were playing Hogwarts Legacy, you were probably finding like foundables and like collectible type objects that you'd want to try to collect all of them. This is like this game's version of that, where once you have them all, you sort of max out your options. And the idea is once a game of Kessel Sabacc is about to start, you pick it's like choosing your weapons. It's like, these are the 3 you're going to bring into that game with you. And then you sort of lock those in. It's the neatest element. And so each one allows you to bend the rules in some way, like changing the economy of the game or changing how you're drawing cards or manipulating your hand. So they all have some aspect of mitigating the chance that might be associated with the game. Let's see. The other big thing that's different is probably the last thing I'll mention about Kessel Sabacc for now is I know some people had said that they didn't play the original Sabacc games because they feel overwhelmed or confused by the notion of betting. And sometimes people don't want to play poker for the same reason. They're like, I get the cards, but I don't understand the strategy around how to bet. Have you ever felt like that? Is that like, has betting ever been like a blocker for you? Not really.
Mm-mm.
Like I actually had somebody say it after we did that episode, because we were betting in that episode as we're playing each other. But I had somebody tell me like, if I want to just play without that, then I'm comfortable. But the minute I feel like everyone around the table is watching me have to make a decision about my bet, like it freaks me out a little bit, which I can sort of understand. So the cool thing about this game is there is a different set of tokens, which I actually neglected to put on the table. These versions are printed in orange, and you have a stack of, I'm going to say 4 at the start of the game. And rather than betting money, everybody just has those same 4 chips, and then you use them as what's called tax tokens. You're paying a tax for if you want to draw a new card because you don't like what you have. You pay 1 chip as the tax or the fee for drawing that card. And some of these shift tokens allow you to break that rule and not have to pay your token. And the reason that matters is those tokens are essentially your life points for the game. And when everybody except 1 person is all out of those chips, then the game is over, and the person who still has some left is going to be the winner. So, and then instead of winning a pot that everyone has been betting into, they're winning a pot that everyone bought into for 1 amount of money at the very beginning. So you might be like, everybody pays 200 credits to be able to play this game. And then you just play with the 4 chip system until everybody but 1 person is out. And then that's the winner. And then they get the pot that's created by all those buy-ins. But then you don't have to be thinking about your money or the economy over the course of the game. So really nice amount of variation in the gameplay mechanics, and enough, I think, to make it so that if somebody loved the other versions of Sabacc but is interested in trying something new, this feels new enough that you'd enjoy it. Maybe we'll have a little group gameplay. It'd be fun to have a couple people over. Yeah, we should start thinking about like who can we wrangle in here to come play with us.
I can think of some folks.
Do you have a couple of ideas?
Yeah.
I know there's a few like usual suspects. I think it would be super fun.
Some of the Northwest Star Cruiser friends, definitely.
Yeah, we've got a nice little Northwest contingent. Would you pass me that red box? So this is, let me go to its product page. Yeah, if you could hold that up for a second. This is the Sabacc deck that is Corellian Spike. So the version that you would see for sale at Galaxy's Edge in Black Spire Outpost, if you've never had a chance to go visit Galaxy's Edge, or maybe you went and you didn't know about this, it's okay, you can put it down.
I want to hide my nails because I don't do my nails like some YouTubers. I don't do
we need to normalize.
I don't do any of that stuff.
Normalize being normal. Let's just be normal people with our space cocktails. The reason I bring that up is it's beautiful, but I have not actually completely unboxed this.
Oh, and it's an unboxing.
This is an unboxing video now.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Didn't know you're coming for this.
Nope. Everything Mike and Emily make is so beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I just love the aesthetic of it. This is also separately shrink wrapped inside.
I bought their Sith die. Remember that? Their dice, their Sith dice.
Is that where you got those from?
I think so. I think it was them.
That were on your costume.
Yeah, I incorporated them into my costume.
Yeah.
I think that was them.
We had like a Sith First Order kind of a look for our second day on the Star Cruiser, as Bridget was kind of flirting with the idea of flipping to the dark side, or at least seeming to. Yeah. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows what your real intentions were, even now. Who knows? I sure can't get this open, but
should I try
there we go.
My terrible nails?
No,
okay. They're all jagged.
We got it. It's from all the unboxing. I just kind of wanted to give a quick sense of. I always like to see the different design of the Psylop. So here's the two Psylops.
Those are so nice. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you hold them up.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I should look away.
Don't look directly into it.
Don't look into the light, Caroline.
I love how they go back and forth in that movie. At first, it's like, go towards the light.
Yeah.
And then they're like, wait.
Run away.
Run away from the light. Sorry. Bad advice.
We're talking about Poltergeist, in case.
Yeah, we crossed the streams for a second there.
Yeah.
That's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So if you, let's say you go to Black Spire Outpost and you find that they are sold out of Sabacc, which is a thing that I'm seeing people posting about now, because now everybody wants to play.
Wow.
Because of Star Wars Outlaws, perhaps not knowing that the deck that they are selling in Black Spire Outpost is not that version of Sabacc. Mike and Emily have you covered. This is the version, the Corellian Spike version, where you're rolling the dice to cause people to dump their hand that we were talking about a few minutes ago. And it's beautiful, completely different art style, very collectible. They're making these decks very collectible. I saw another set while we were at HalseyCon that they were showing. I haven't bought it yet, but it's super cool. It is a Naboo themed deck. And they went to the level of like researching what symbolism to use based on, I think, like visual dictionary material or something. Like they went down the rabbit hole and figured out if there was a Naboo themed deck in universe, what imagery would they be using? And that was beautiful. I just really like the thought process that they put into all of this.
I just remembered, I think it was Hondo Supply that I got this dice.
Oh, it was Hondo Supply. That's right.
Sorry.
But So that is another great source of cool like fabrication and materials. That is Mike from the Armor Party podcast who runs that one. And yeah, he made our Sith dice. I would love to see Mike and Emily's take on a first order themed set of gear. I don't know if they've tackled that, but I feel like they would do something really cool with that.
Definitely.
Just putting it out there, just manifesting it in the galaxy. Okay, the last thing I think I wanted to open was that mailer.
Oh.
This is actually from a while ago.
It's substantial.
It's weighty because it's metal. These are metal Sabacc credits that we got a set of. We have a beautiful set here that you could buy on the in the gift shop on the Halcyon. And the camera does not do them justice. I assumed they were made out of plastic, but they are heavy-duty metal coins with a translucent center.
Yeah.
So, and we actually gave away a set of those as part of our countdown to our Star Cruiser special. But there's something really satisfying about these, this version of the credits. Let me just see if I can get into this package without grabbing the scissors. How's your day going?
I believe in you.
How's your day been?
I like the purple packaging. They put that in.
Okay. Oh, wow. They're like individually... These are individually wrapped.
Oh, my gosh. These are really nice.
Yeah. And they come in different denominations.
I'm going to take it out of the package.
Yeah, everything they do, they just really... They put quality into it. You should have seen their booth at HalcyCon. They had a booth, but there was also a whole room of Sabacc for the Sabacc tournament that was gorgeous, and they had a stand set up in there that felt very thematic.
These are so nice.
Yeah, there's just something cool about the fact that they feel sort of heavy in your hand. I'm trying to remember.
I feel like they're worth something.
They do. I feel like there's a third denomination in here.
Is there one more?
Yeah, it's this gold one here.
Oh, that's nice.
These are really pretty. But yeah, Mike and Emily, they were fully dressed like in universe. The tables and the environment in the room were all beautiful. They had partnered up with Sabacc for Charity, and Magic Wheelchair was the beneficiary of the fundraiser. It was a fundraiser tournament. And they've enabled people to create immersive Sabacc tournaments and regular meetups all over the country. There's now an organization called the Outer Rim Sabacc League that you can join if you're interested in creating one. I'd love to have one of their people come on as a guest and talk about what does that entail if you want to do that for a group locally, because I'd just like to know more about it. And I'm sure a lot of their folks are heavily using Mike and Emily's gear. So just super cool. I feel like we're just seeing the early stages of where all this is going to go over the next couple of years. But I really love the fact that so much is going on with this game that you and I had fun talking about a year and a half ago that sort of kicked off our whole journey with this show. Thanks for doing this with me. It's special to be able to just like immerse, forget about our troubles for a while. It's been an interesting couple of months, not all positive. And so the ability to sort of escape into this world for a while and have that time together is really special. And so all of you that watch our show, we really appreciate you. Like when we see your comments in the comments section, when we see you sending us cool stuff in our DMs that you think we might be interested in, it means a lot. And you know, I won't talk about it too much because I'll start choking up. But I feel like in this day and age, it's really important. More important than ever. You know, we need to be kind of bonding together. On that note, don't forget to vote. Voting feels particularly important in this election, so definitely want to encourage everybody to get out there. I think early voting is open in a lot of places. So yeah, don't be shy at the polls. And I think that's it from us. Do you have anything else you want to share before we sign off?
No.
Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me.
Yeah.
This is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, I'll go ahead and sign us off. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week and a great weekend to follow. With that, Tabuite.
Tabuite.